Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming today. I so appreciate everyone being here. Megan and Jonathan, thank you so much for hosting us at your home, and we're all rooting for the Seahawks today, so thanks for wearing the local pride. I'm so glad to be joined by Dow Constantine, our county executive. He's doing such a great job on the efficiencies of what it takes to deliver for our county, and I know he thinks that these issues of making sure that homeowners are treated fairly is such an important issue in King County. I also want to thank Diana Chinia, is that how you say it? Chinia for being here, a Bellevue resident, and thank you for willing to share your thoughts on these important issues. And we'll be joined shortly by Gary Wright, who is a realtor from our state, to talk about his views on this. Obviously, the state and local tax deductions are very important issues for Washingtonians. We've had one of the most unique tax codes in the country, along with the state of Oregon, and yet our economy has grown faster than the national average every year since World War II. So there's something to be said for the efficiency of the Washington tax code, and that is why we're so worried that now there are those in Congress who want to take away these state and local deductions from our citizens and literally give a tax break to millionaires and actually impact local homeowners like these right here in this community, and would mean a raising of taxes on local families. Repealing the important deduction of our state and local taxes would impact more than 1.1 million Washingtonians. Those Washingtonians on average claim about $7,400 in deductions, and that is about 85% of the taxpayers claiming this deduction. They are less than $200,000 of income. So the notion that somehow people who claim these deductions are people who are very well off is not true. As I said, 85% of them are below that $200,000 of income. The sales deduction alone helps put an average about $600 back into the pockets of Washington families each year, and so we want to make sure that it is not repealed. It could mean the difference between somebody purchasing a car or making an investment in education, groceries, or other kinds of supplies. Many families itemize and take advantage of our state and local tax deduction, our mortgage interest deductions, our charitable contributions, and a number of deductions and other exemptions. Families across King County and the state of Washington would not be better off by just doubling the standard deduction. That is, some on the other side say that in their reform they would double the standard deduction. But even with that, and the changes in rates, with eliminating our state and local deductions from our federal obligations, many Washingtonians would see a tax increase, and this is unacceptable. An analysis of the Americans Against Double Taxation and Government Finance Officers found that a family of four in King County earned $56,000 and could face an increase of $1,600 under this Republican House proposal. A family of four in Vancouver earning $68,000 could see an increase of over $2,200 without the state and local deductions, and an individual in Yakima earning $52,000 could see their taxes go up by more than $1,300. So eliminating this tax deduction would be a tax increase on Washingtonians, and we can't stand for it. Washington State's tax code, as I said, is unique, and it drives efficiencies in our economy. The last time we did tax reform, people took away our ability to deduct our sales tax, and when I got to the United States Senate, I fought to get it restored. It took us a few years. In 2004, we ended up making it on a temporary basis, and finally at the end of 2015, we worked to make it a permanent part of the tax code again. So we are not ready to lose this very, very important thing that Washington families care about and depend on. So now I'd like to turn it over to County Exec Dow Constantine to have him make a few remarks.
Well, thank you, Senator. And thank you, Megan and Jonathan, for hosting us here. Thanks to everyone for being here to shine a light on another disastrous plan cooked up by the Trump administration and rubber stamped by House and Senate leadership, desperate for anything that looks like a win. Let me be clear. The tax plan supported by Trump, by Mitch McConnell, by Paul Ryan is profoundly unfair. We're here today to highlight one point, one part of that. Their plan to eliminate the deduction for state and local taxes. In 2015, almost 30% of Washington taxpayers took the federal deduction for state and local taxes. And in King County, nearly half of all households took the deduction, including 76% of middle-income filers. Those middle-income filers in King County saved about $2,000. In other words, Trump and the Republicans are pushing a $2,000 tax increase for struggling middle-class wage earners in Washington and elsewhere. This Republican this Republican idea takes money out of people's pockets, and it comes at a particularly difficult time for many King County homeowners. See, the state legislature's solution to school funding falls mostly on King County property owners. Eliminating the deduction for state and local taxes, just as property taxes go up locally, will be tough for a lot of people. What's more, this elimination would place additional pressure on local governments to cut important local services. Services that over 2 million King County residents rely on, including housing, roads and infrastructure, public health, mental health, substance abuse treatment, safety and emergency services, and more. From the opioid crisis to homelessness, our constituents are demanding more services, not less. What the people of King County need is a champion in this tax debate, a fighter, someone who's respected on both sides of the aisle, someone who will stand up for what is fair for all the people. We are fortunate to have that champion in Senator Maria Cantwell. In a time when many of these qualities are lacking, she is a voice of reason and compassion and wisdom. And I want to thank her for the long battle to restore the deductibility of our sales tax here in this state. And I thank her for the battle that she's now taking on to preserve these important state and local tax deductions. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Executive President King. Now we're going to hear from Diana, who is a local homeowner on the east side. Diana?
Good morning. My name is Diana Chinea, and thank you for having me here today. I'm one of the many taxpayers making under $200,000 a year who deduct local sales and property taxes on our federal income taxes. The proposal to eliminate these deductions, quite simply, means less money. Less money for our children's college savings accounts, less money for retirement, and for us personally, it could add up to about $3,000 a year that we would lose as a family. We have 2 children. I work part-time because one of our kids has had biweekly medical appointments over the last 2.5 years that I've needed to be available for. Our oldest leaves for college next year to study biomedical engineering, and our youngest will be in college in just a few years after that. But even before we send our kids to college, school expenses, even in our public schools, are on the rise. Activities like debate and robotics class fees for the arts and sciences, sports fees, it all adds up. Property taxes look to be going up substantially for us. Our out-of-pocket medical expenses are high, and the federal deductible amount for that was recently raised. The elimination of this SALT deduction feels like a plan to tax our taxes. It takes money out of our pockets, and I'm just not sure why that makes sense. I'm hoping that legislators in DC will listen to Senator Cantwell and will think about how best to help families and about the real consequences of eliminating these deductions.